Could it be that May is George Taylor's daughter? In one of our previous videos, we talked about the theory that May, the human in the trailers for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, was the daughter of an astronaut. This theory has gained strength from the latest trailers, where we see who seems to be a new version of an astronaut from the previous movies. What would you think if I told you that Taylor is in the new trailer of this movie, and that he will be part of May's story? Do you want to know what this theory is about? And for more videos from the Planet of the Apes universe, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Welcome to the Oasis Geek. When the new installment of Planet of the Apes was announced, it was thought that we would see the continuation of the story of Cornelius, Caesar's son. However, the story was presented as the events that occurred 300 years later. It is a time when humans live as animals and apes dominate the planet. It's a slightly more primitive time than the one we saw in the first Planet of the Apes movie, but it has too many similarities, to the point that we might think it could be an alternate story of the same events. But why do we theorize that George Taylor could appear in this movie? In the first Planet of the Apes movie, George Taylor was an astronaut who traveled to another planet with a mission to test the Icarus technology that allowed him to travel between stars and possibly in time, and a second important mission to populate that planet with humans. George Taylor belonged to a division of the government, a special secret program, which was attempting to test various prototypes of the U.S. space program. According to George Taylor, in addition to testing these spacecraft, astronaut Marianne was supposed to be the new Eve in this world. That is, she would become the mother of many children of these astronauts, but she lost her life during the journey of the Icarus. In the original Planet of the Apes movie, we can see that her body is mummified. The death of Marianne Stewart is something that doomed the future of humanity on this hostile planet, because now George Taylor would not have a companion to reproduce. George Taylor was eventually kidnapped by apes and subjected to experiments, then escaped, and eventually the world was destroyed by a nuclear bomb. However, this will never happen in the Caesar trilogy, as this is a new timeline. The characters from the original films do not yet exist here, but the Icarus does. In the Caesar trilogy, there is a scene in which we see the launching of the Icarus spaceship, which means that it is possible that this spaceship traveled in time and landed in the era of Proxima Caesar. The fact that the Icarus exists could also be evidence that George Taylor could also exist in this world, and that we could eventually see him on screen. Now, if this new version of George Taylor landed in the Proxima Caesar era, it is possible that he was captured by these apes and kept in a sort of prison. But what evidence do we have to suggest that? In the behind the scenes of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, we can see a scene in which May is with an older man, played by William Macy. According to the behind the scenes, his name is Trevan, and we can see in the image that he is inside a rusty boat. In some scenes we can see that Proxima Caesar also lives in a rusty ship. This leads me to think that Trevan and May have been imprisoned in this place for a long time, and that Raka helps May to escape. But the interesting part of this theory comes now. I think that behind Trevan could really hide George Taylor. Perhaps this is an older version of the astronaut Taylor from this timeline, who was trapped in the time of Proxima Caesar and has a daughter. In other words, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes would be the story of what would have happened if George Taylor had arrived in the Icarus spaceship 300 years after the apes conquered the world. This would be an alternate story to what happened in the first movie, but it would be focused on the astronaut's daughter, and not on the astronaut himself. If this Trevan is indeed George Taylor, who could be May's mother? As I mentioned at the beginning, Marianne Stewart lost her life in the original movie when she arrived on the Icarus, but she was supposed to be the new Eve who would populate the planet. If in this version Marianne never lost her life, it is possible that she desired to continue with her goal, and it would make sense that she would be May's mother. So that's why May would even be called this way, since she is Marianne's daughter. Could it be then that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is the same story, but told in a different way? In the original Planet of the Apes movie, Zira and Dr. Zaius debated about the origin of George Taylor, as they thought that this could be the missing link, an idea that comes from the theory of evolution, where it is believed that there could have been a half-ape man. This idea is debated in the film, as George Taylor begins to speak, and this surprises all the scientists of that time. Interestingly, in the previews of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, we can also hear Proximus Caesar talking about the theory of evolution. It's like the same elements from the first movie are being repeated. The theme around human and ape evolution, in conjunction with the revelation that May can talk in the last trailer, as well as the fact that May and Trevan have different clothing than the humans of that era, leads me to think that the theory that this man is actually an alternate version of George Taylor is a strong possibility, and it is likely that May is the daughter of this astronaut. This could mean that this version of George Taylor never found the mutants, but remained a prisoner of the apes for decades, while Proximus Caesar studied him. Now, if this theory is true, May's mission could actually be to try to find the Icarus to escape from this planet. In the original movies, the apes managed to escape on the Icarus. They used the spaceship to escape the nuclear end of this planet. It is possible that if May is indeed Taylor and Marianne's daughter, she has heard about the Icarus spaceship since she was a little girl, and perhaps she is trying to find it to escape. Now, in the latest trailers, we can see a scene in which May is activating a type of hydroelectric plant, perhaps drawing water from a dam. It is possible that if this theory is real, what May is actually doing is trying to retrieve the Icarus. But if May is actually George Taylor's daughter, it is possible that her father loses his life, and it is up to her to accomplish the goal of escaping this world. I think that if the theory that May is the daughter of George Taylor and Marianne Stewart comes true, will be something that will surprise many fans of this universe, and it would unite the old movies with the new ones. But tell me, what do you think about all this? Is May actually the daughter of an astronaut? Is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes an alternate story to the first Planet of the Apes movie? And for more videos of your favorite series and movies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You are on The Oasis Geek.